Good evening. With unions and the state government at war, Sydney commuters are facing a second day without trains following today's snap shutdown of the entire rail network. Tonight, many thousands are facing a long trek home following a chaotic morning which left them confused, angry and very frustrated. A blame game was triggered after the government halted all trains on safety grounds, while the union claimed all their members were willing to work.
Manic Monday.
No public transport. I don't know what's going on.
Trains unexpectedly out of action.
Notice would have been very helpful.
Sparking a day of disruption.
I can't get to work, can't do my job.
Passengers turned pawns in a political standoff.
This is really difficult.
As the entire network was shut down.
This is not a strike. We are not on strike.
Workers reported for duty. Some as blindsided as commuters.
Not happy, because they have to tell us before.
Came to work and there's no trains, there's no work. We have no idea what's happening.
After Transport for New South Wales made an 11th hour call to pull the pin on services.
The Premier turned off our trains this morning. He can turn them back on.
As if a government would want to stop the rail network. Governments have never stopped the rail network.
But the government did. Transport officials met with the union on Saturday and signed off on a ban on alternate working or the changing of rostered shifts or roles. But it wasn't until last night the department declared a risk assessment was needed, announcing its decision to shut down the train network just before 2 this morning.
And I went to bed last night, nice and tidy at 9:30 at night, thinking everything's okay in the morning.
The government claims the limited industrial action would have made the network unsafe, accusing unions and the opposition of forcing its hand.
This is the unions playing games with the Labor Party for political purposes at the expense of our people.
We've had enough politics, we've had enough disruption, we need to get back to work.
The chaos coming the same day the state's union boss declared 2022 will be the year of the strike unless the government meets demands for higher wages.
It's not an ultimatum. What we know is that people are frustrated. This government refuses to negotiate, refuses to provide proper pay rises.
Live to Amelia Brace now. Amelia, the main question for commuters tonight, when will the train start running again?
Well, it's not good news, Mark. If the train network is up and running at all tomorrow, it will be significantly disrupted. I spoke to the Transport Minister a short time ago and David Elliott told me that he will work through the night to see what can be done, whether that is limited train services on some lines or more than likely replacement buses. Meanwhile, the advice from Sydney Trains tonight is don't count on catching a train tomorrow.
Our advice is to avoid travel on the rail network where possible. Even if we are able to resolve this issue, we will still see impacts across the network tomorrow. Advise customers to use other modes of public transport.
And those other modes of public transport include buses and the metro, which will be running to schedule tomorrow as they were today. Commuters are told to keep an eye on social media as well as the Transport for New South Wales website to work out what to do. Meanwhile, unions say their workers will be showing up tomorrow regardless. Mark?
Amelia Brace at a very quiet Wynyard station. Thank you. Live now to Robert Ovardia at Parramatta Station. Rob, how's it looking there this evening?
Well, much louder than where Amelia was just there. This is the bus interchange at Parramatta. Plenty of people behind us. It has been ebbing and flowing. There are so many buses on tonight and there really have to be right across the city. Now, it could be a different story getting home today than this morning. People at least have had a chance to stagger their return home from work and the government has also had more time to put on services. Uber is also promising to ease prices for the commute home today after some passengers were charged hundreds of dollars just to get to work.
No matter where you were coming from.
I'm going off street. How am I going to get home?
Or going to.
It's a pain in the arse, pardon my language.
You were not getting there by train. A very ordinary start to the working week.
I've got to get to Hornsby. There's no way to get there for my normal shift.
And that was the biggest gripe at Hurstville.
It's quite ridiculous to happen on a Monday morning.
Parramatta.
How late are you going to be? Very late. I've just texted my boss.
Liverpool.
Very upset.
There's no bus replacements.
There were eventually, but then there were the queues at all major hubs, Chatswood, Strathfield.
It would nearly take me 3 hours to get to my work.
On what was meant to be the day workers returned to the office.
Everyone wants to go to work, but no one can go to work.
It was also the first day of university.
We've got class in an hour, but what can you do?
Is this what you needed on your first day?
Not exactly.
Some school students were even sent home because teachers could not make it in.
We've just rocked up here, my son and I, one to go to school, one to go to work, and it's just shut.
If getting around Sydney was difficult, getting to Sydney was futile. This was Gosford.
I need to get from point A to point B. And now I'm stuck on point A, I can't get to point B.
There were alternatives, but equally unpleasant. Taking the car meant a slow, grinding crush on our major roads, a win only for taxi drivers.
I normally don't like Mondays, but, this morning was reward.
Using Uber meant paying more for your trip to work than the money you would earn once there. From Walleye Creek to North Sydney,
$150, whole day of wage.
And just to Central.
It's gone up to $103, and yes, there's no buses, all the buses are full.
Elsewhere, uber expensive. Up to $270 between Kingswood and Parramatta, and 600% price hikes elsewhere. From one Uber driver.
As soon as the demand is up, the prices go up.
Supply and demand. And with no supply of trains, commuters will demand answers. Robert Avadia, 7 News.